The world of AI research is facing a dramatic gap between industry scale and academic resources. At Stanford, the per-person GPU count hovers around 0.1 cards, a figure that shocks observers. LeCun has sounded the alarm, calling the current imbalance a critical bottleneck for research progress. A deeper look into data from top U.S. universities reveals stark shortages across labs and labs capacities. Princeton clocks in at 0.8 GPUs per person, while Stanford sits at 0.14 in its Marlow supercomputer cluster. Harvard, UW, and CMU hover between 0.2 and 0.4 GPUs per person, far from the 1 per person target. Caltech, MIT, and UC Berkeley are sometimes below 0.1 GPUs per person, highlighting a deeper crisis. To do credible AI research today, a lab would ideally have at least 1 GPU per person, and realistically, many need 8 or more. In contrast, the industry is racing ahead with enormous centers and tens of thousands of GPUs. Microsoft's Fairwater Atlanta, Fairwater Atlanta is a case in point, currently running the equivalent of 23 GPT-4 scale trainings each month. If the original GPT-4 training took 90 to 100 days, here it could be repeated about 70 times in the same time. This scale enables labs to run far more exploratory experiments and iterate models faster. By 2026, Colossus 2 could double these capacities, accelerating even further. By late 2027, Fairwater, Wisconsin is expected to complete more than 225 GP4 scale trainings per month. 2 AI labs, including NYU, have claimed the largest university GPU clusters in the country, with hundreds of GPUs. But the reality for many institutions is far leaner, with some reporting only a few dozen GPUs per lab. Even in the United States, Reddit threads reveal students without access to H100 GPUs hindering progress. The GPU gap is not limited to the US. Global studies show widespread shortfalls in academia. In academia, Slurm-style queues often restrict access to compute, making experimentation painstaking. Some faculty report that machines must run for 24 hours, then be saved and re-queued, a brutal pace. LeCun rebutted this view, noting NYU's unusually large GPU cluster of 500 H200 cards. Some institutions boast self-built AI factories with substantial on-site GPU capacity. William and Mary and Dan Roy describe smaller labs where students are given 1 GPU each for their projects. The University of Texas at Austin is a standout, investing thousands of GPUs and tying them into a National Horizon supercomputer. UT Austin's combined GB200 systems and Vera servers empower open-source language model research at scale. Meanwhile, California's Caltech/Cal State systems launch an NVIDIA DGX-based AI factory to accelerate tasks. With such systems, tasks like analyzing hundreds of thousands of video files can be completed in days rather than months. The picture in China mirrors the US. GPU access in universities remains inconsistent and limited. On Chinese online forums, students discuss lab GPUs and the struggle to obtain devices. Some schools report only a single 30i80 for a whole cohort, forcing students to self-fund additional GPUs. The GPU drought is cascading through education, reshaping how computer science is taught and learned. LeCun's remarks underscore a broader crisis where academic curiosity meets scarce resources. Nature magazine's survey exposes an alarming AI compute gap between academia and industry. Industry giants still outpace academia in producing influential AI models and research breakthroughs. Experts warn that limited resources force researchers to focus on safe, incremental ideas rather than bold, combinatorial experiments. Many labs rely on non-interactive job queues, slowing the pace of discovery and collaboration. In some places, even basic access is limited by time windows and checkpointing requirements. Yet there is optimism. Some institutions are building large, dedicated AI infrastructure to empower researchers. Open questions remain about how to allocate compute fairly among professors, postdocs, and students. As the GPU landscape evolves, universities may pursue internal factories and partnerships to close the gap. The coming years will determine whether academia preserves a leadership role in AI knowledge creation. In sum, the GPU gap reshapes not just research outputs, but the very career trajectories of aspiring scientists. This documentary will continue to track how compute resources influence the march of AI science. End of preview. The academic compute gap is a live issue that will redefine what researchers can achieve.